Save money in Malaysia. The problem with saving money in Malaysia. Now, this is CF Liu, independent financial advisor. Now, have you tried to save more money in Malaysia? You may even make a commitment or promise to yourself to save more money. I'm not here to judge you. Not even going to say whether you did the right thing or otherwise. But for most people, you end up spending the money idling in your bank account when you don't save money. Now, this easily happens when you have the habit of spending money before you actually save money. After all, spending money is like 1,000 times easier than saving money. So, honestly, the right method is not to have the willpower or the discipline because you just cannot trust your willpower or discipline. So instead, the best way is to have an automated system in place, just like your EPF 11% deduction, where it is set aside before you even see it. Now, on the topic of save money in Malaysia, it would not be complete without looking at the opposite of saving money in Malaysia. Now, I want you to think about the money spent, which you could have saved in the first place. Think about the last time when you spent a substantial sum of money, and probably to a point that where, after spending it, you have some sort of regret. Question yourself, do that add on to your overall enjoyment and well-being? Here's my take. Every single expenses, everything that you spend money on, it should be directed to spending on things that do matter and improve the quality of your life. Personally, this is something that I've been advocating and have been doing throughout the past decade. And it didn't really come as a surprise to me because on top of that, I personally take it as a personal challenge to spend as little money as I could without, feeling like I'm living like a beggar. And the way to do that is to cut back on things that I don't really use or didn't really even matter for me. I turn everything into an exercise of how low I can get the prices down. Now, in a way, this is my weird idea of fun, and it happens to have its benefit as well. The key here, as I say, is not to feel deprived or depressed. Things like saving that kind of money for your property purchase, saving money when you want to get married, and then saving money to actually buy your first home. Now, these are the things that is really worth it. But using that money or saving money just to buy and then hold an investment like, a property for investment that actually bleeds cash every month, and then the valuation of that property is very stagnant, and then, you have tenants from hell. This is a good example, a surefire way to making you feel depressed when you save money to put into an asset that gives you a lot of trouble, that gives you trouble with no end, that does not appreciate, and then you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just like holding a bad rental property. In that case, maybe you should actually consider selling it if you have a bad rental property. But before you do, let me ask you this. Are you unsure how much longer you should hold onto your worst performing real estate investment property, or whether you'll be better off selling it as soon as possible? You get tired of attending property investment seminar by property gurus who are still trying to convince you property investment is still as easy and profitable as 5 years or 10 years ago. Well, they might be right, or they might have their own agenda for saying so. Want a non-biased second opinion? I'm conducting an online web class this week to answer this burning question. You are also going to discover if your property is at risk of not able to increase your tenant's rental in the future. If you feel you are going to benefit from these out-of-the-box insider insights, click on the link in the description below after you finish watching this video, and it will bring you to a page that looks like this. No credit card required, but availability is limited. We get filled very fast. Seats are reserved on a first-come, first-served basis. If you check out the description section below, I also include links where I save more than 6 figures on my loan refinancing, and also how I save a few couple hundreds on a printer. Now, people always say saving money is no different than delayed gratification or frugality, financial minimalism. When you spend money which you have saved, and then you use that money to buy quality experience, services, or products that adds value and practicality or convenience to your life, instead of spending the money you save to show off, to impress people you don't like or don't know, which is pretty depressing and totally irrational for you to do that. Now, if you could really relate to what I just told you about, smash on the like button and hit on the notification bell if you agree with me so far. Also, the context of spending money on luxury might seem appealing to a lot of people, but you have to understand the context of luxury at different times. For example, in the early 2020, luxury item isn't LV bags, it isn't Gucci garments, or isn't even Ferrari cars. Luxury items in the early 2020 include things like bread, rice, face masks, and toilet paper. So to borrow a concept called by Marie Kondo, you got to do constant KonMari on your lifestyle to really be self-aware what makes you feel free and happy. And this kind of priority, desire, and needs constantly changes in different stages of life. This way, it will lead to you having more control and autonomy over how you want your life to be. Instead of people dangling a stash of carrots in front of you, like your company or your boss, and then you'll be at the mercy of your company or your boss should they decide to take the carrots away. Something like, that's why they call that, a hamster wheel for a reason. But really, there's another big problem to saving money that we really need to discuss about, because saving money and cutting back on your expenses can only get you so far. The last time we tried, you cannot save more than you earn. Now, I see some financial bloggers, online, and they blog about how they're able to save like 300, 400,000 when they are in their mid-30s. But then I see that they have no life, they are not married, they have no kids, they have nothing going on in their life, and probably they are lonely as fuck, sitting in their apartment every single weekend, just like you're going through a quarantine or a MCO, movement control order. They are not dating, nothing going on in their life except work, save money, look at the property market, look at the stock market. So you see, cutting back and saving alone can only take you so far. There's only so much you can save money and cut back before you eventually realize that it's not possible to cut back anymore. And then at that point of time, I can tell you, you are stuck, you will feel helpless, depressed, and it's no fun. On the same notion, people are obsessed with knowing like what are the best savings account, what are the best high interest fixed deposit account, what are the best cashback credit card. Now, these are great optimization, but spending most of your time keeping up with all those changes is often not worth the time and effort. That is definitely not a way to outdo your peers. Nonetheless, the good thing about saving money is that it's easy and you see immediate progress on your finances when you see your bank account grow. Now, I also understand there's no downside like investment. You are fully in control. But on one end of the spectrum, we are talking about hyper frugality. On the other end of the spectrum, you have materialism, you have wastefulness, you have extravagance. So you've got to strike a balance in the middle of both ends of this spectrum, especially in uncertain and hard times. And nobody else can answer that question for you except yourself. So when you cannot possibly save anymore, the next viable step is actually to upskill in order to earn more. Channel all your attention to increase your income rather than fixating your attention on what are the best credit card that give you the best cashback or what are the best high interest fixed deposit account. A very good example of earning more by upskilling is transitioning or transforming yourself to a T-shaped employee where you have this kind of niche expertise, but you also possess that kind of competency, that kind of cross-functional skills. Now, just to give you an example, in any big company, you have someone like a general manager, right? So a general manager is someone who have this is what we call a T-shaped employee, where he has competency in a lot of functions in the entire business. Or just like myself, right? I can talk about investing, I can talk about property, I can talk about risk management. Now that is like a life skill that works in general. The truth is your earning power is uncapped. So if your lifestyle spending don't increase at the same rate as your income or your earning power as it goes up, then you are basically like you are riding a bullet train to your financial independence. Way better than people who are so fixated on the best investment tactic or strategy. At the same time, you also have a more enjoyable life experience. All in all, saving and investing and earning more money get hand in hand together. Now, saving is very easy to do, but when it comes to investing and especially when it comes to earning more, it's harder. But if you're able to achieve that, you are already way ahead of your peers. Not only that, it gives you a sense of security to pursue what you want to do in the future without being paralyzed by the money you are getting. Now, having more money saved and invested and having that kind of high income skill gives you options in life. And most importantly, you have that courage to take that leap of faith to pursue anything just because you enjoy it without being concerned of all the money you are getting. Whether you can pay your bills this month, or whether you will suffer if you have a pay cut this month, or whether you're being retrenched. And that is really the entire point of living below your means, saving as much money as you can, and seize the many opportunity, whether it's career, business, or investing, that cross your path in different stages of your life. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, if you really enjoy lessons like this, hit on like, hit on subscribe, and also don't forget to hit on the notification bell. Lastly, I want you to comment yes in the comment section below if this makes sense, or comment no if you think what I talk about doesn't make sense.